Hey guys, so today we're going to do a cooking video. I recently learned how to make flan, so I'm going to show you guys the recipe I used and show you how it turns out in the end. Alright, I'll see you soon. Alright, sorry for the shadows and shaking. So I decided last night at I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning, so this morning technically, to make flan because I wanted pudding, but I wanted a custard and I couldn't decide what I wanted, but the caramel was definitely the option I wanted, so I went with this recipe. I got this recipe from another YouTuber. I don't remember his name, but he showcases like his cat and stuff like that and cute little ornaments in his cooking all the time, and he's from like Japan or something like that, so I know he's Asian descent of some kind. So this is going to be all measurements that they would use in other countries, like grams and milliliters instead of cups and ounces. So what you want to do is you want to steal your husband's scale for his tools, or go to the Walmart section and buy the same one for cooking. But I'm stealing my husband's scale. Nope. I want to turn it on first. Okay. Wait until it hits 0. Take your pot you're going to put your caramel in. Wait till it says what it weighs. And then you're going to want to 0 it out. And make sure you are in grams, because see, it's 0 now and it says grams, a little G down there. For this one, you need 80 grams of sugar. Oh no, I didn't think that one through. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Don't you dare. Don't you do it. Not today. Okay. Once you get that all blown off and you set your item back on top and it says 0 again, what you're going to do is carefully pour in 80 grams. And I will show you that it says 80 here in a little bit. So right now I'm fighting with it. And it doesn't take long. I find it easier to do it into the container you're going to essentially use. That way it's completely accurate, especially for the caramel. And you can spoon it in, or you can do what I'm doing and just pour it in until it says 80. I kind of needed both hands apparently. I don't know what you guys are looking at, probably my salt shakers, but that's okay. Almost there, just a few more seconds. And when you pour, here, let me see if I can get you guys an angle of some kind. There we go, that's a little better. Okay, so I'm at 78 right now. Well, according to this it says I'm at 80. So when you pour it in, make sure you try to level it out. Give it a little shake and then set it back down. And it says 78 still after the shake, so I'm going to put in a teensy bit more. Oops, that's a little too much. It's 82 grams. And take away just, it's really weird, but the teeniest amount possible, you just take it that away, shake it back out, set it back down, still at 80. 82. Okay. I did not have this much trouble last night. I was also half asleep too, so that might be why. Wow, really? I'm just doing little scoots of sugar out. Alright, we're going to call it good at make sure everything is cleaned off. Okay, we're going to call it good right there because that seems to be holding at 80. Then what you're going to want to do is redo your scale. I find it easy to turn it off, turn it back on. Change your grams back down because it's going to change every time you turn it back on. And then zero out your scale. And then again, you're going to do 90 grams for this next set of sugar. And this is going to be for the actual flan itself. When you get close, just go ahead and give it that shake, set it back down, make sure it's saying the same one that it said earlier. It shouldn't matter, but it does somehow that when you shake it, it now is saying it's a different weight. There we go, 90 grams. Alright, and that's all the sugar you're going to need. Okay. And that's the only scale time you're going to need too. So let's turn it off. Put it back. Okay. Alright. So let's see if I can get a good view of the pot. Yes, that looks pretty good. So you're going to take a shot glass. And that says 1 tablespoon. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but you're going to take a shot glass that's about halfway full. And that's about 1 tablespoon. And you're going to pour that into your sugar. That's all the water you need. Give that a nice little swirl. I'm going to try to get all the wet and the dry as incorporated as possible. And I'm just shaking it back and forth to try to get those last little bits. Alright, that looks pretty decent. Now if your stove is like mine and one side's a little broken, find the most even place. And you want to put this at medium heat. For me, that's about number 4 on my dial knob, whatever you want to call that. And we are going to sit here and we are going to wait for it to bubble and turn brown. But while you're waiting for your caramel to form up, you can get yourself a baking pan of some kind. Make sure it's clean. I'm not sure what size this one is, but it's a standard cake pan. And then you're going to want to get yourself a larger high-sided pan because you're going to use that to water bath the mixture later. And I think it would be easier if you just leave it in the pan right there and you can just put everything in there. But if you need to take it out for any reason, just be careful when you get to the caramel section of it because that pan's going to get real hot. Okay, so as you can probably hear, it's starting to bubble, and this is one of those trust the process kind of scenarios because it looks like it's going to be an absolute fail, and then out of nowhere it works. So got nice bubbles. I don't know if you see that. Nice bubbles in there. The instructions that the gentleman used is that you don't mess with it. You wait for the bubbles to get fast like that. and then as it starts to turn a golden brown color, it is going to slow down and then speed back up again once it hits that golden brown color. So hopefully we'll see it change. Oops. I don't want to get the camera too close. But still got it down now. I did find last night though, if one side of my pan got brown before the other, I did have to give it a swirl a few times, which most people say that that method is best to prevent crystals, and mine came out pretty good last night, so I would assume that that was the right thing to do because I was getting a hot spot. So let's see if the same thing happens. Okay, so we're getting about halfway there. See how the bubbles, there's a lot of them, but they're not like super rapid as they were earlier. They're starting to slow down a little bit. At this point, you're going to start seeing where it starts to golden and turn like a dark brown. You're looking for a maple color. So you want it to be darker than you think it is supposed to be when you're done, which is kind of odd. But basically you want it to almost look burnt. Not be burnt, but look burnt. You're also going to start noticing like almost a nutty smell, and that means we're getting really close. So like for me, this one section seems to get hotter than the rest, and you just do that little swirl, and you set it back down, and at this point you should start seeing a golden color. And then you're going to wait for it to get darker. So right now it's a light color still. It's not white, but it's kind of a golden-y color. I don't know if you see the difference. You see how the bubbles are still really slow. You're going to wait for that to speed up a little bit. And then every so often to check it, you just give it a little mix for a few seconds. Okay, it's almost there. We have definitely reached the golden-y brown stage. At this point, we just needed to go a teeny bit darker, and you'll start to see that dark color in the bubbles, and it goes really quick at this point. Alright, a few more seconds. The bubbles should start speeding back up at this point. Alright. Once they speed back up, kill the heat, give it your final stir, as you can see. And I'll show you in the pan. You just pour it immediately into your pan. Don't be a dummy like I was the other night. Try to coat Okay, so I had water in my pan, but that dark color, that's what you want when you're done. And you want it to be in the pan, and you're just going to leave it here, and we're going to move on to the next step. So essentially you're going to just let that cool down. Alright, so the next step we have, tilt you down a little better, there we go. Next step we have is we're going to take pan. We're going to add in our 700 milliliters of milk. Okay. And we're going to take our 90 grams of sugar. And there we go. And we're going to whisk this together. And then we're going to turn the heat back on for this one. Again, you want it to be about medium. Oh. Okay. You can use a spatula or a spoon. You want it to be stirred occasionally. I'm probably going to switch to another utensil. But while we wait for that to heat up, because it does take a few seconds or minutes depending on how much you're making, I again have that on medium. We need 3 egg yolks and 3 eggs. So 3 whole eggs and 3 yolks. My bad. I'm just going to separate my egg whites into this container I used last night. No real rhyme or reason of how to do it, just however works for you. I find that the hand method sometimes is better. That way you can kind of coax that last little bit off and gently stick them in there. I would say wash your hands in between doing this and the next step. You can also do this step before the milk if you're worried about it scalding or burning. And you are going to have this slight smell of kind of burnt sugar for a few minutes, so don't freak out. It's not milk. It's actually your caramel cooling. Come on, get off. Okay. Once you get all your little, what feel like boogers off, and I just slip it between my fingers. I don't know if you can see, no, probably not, but you just slip it between 2 of your fingers, make a little hole, and then let it fall off. There we go. That's my hands off. Make sure your milk isn't scalding. So you don't want your milk to boil, you just want it to foam at the edge, which mine has gotten to that point, and you kill the heat. Ideally, you'd want to stir it a little better than I did throughout the process, be a little bit more diligent, but somehow making videos, that gets away from you. Okay, so we're going to take our other eggs that we have remaining, which should be 3 of them. And you want to carefully, with no shell, it's okay if these ones break. You're gonna squish them anyways. So once you get all of that, you rinse your hands one more time. You can take your whisk. You see, you're going to poke all your little eggs. You're going to whisk them until combined. Okay, so it's okay if it's not perfectly uniform. You are going to temper your egg mixture at this point, which I'll show you in just a second. So they can be a little bit not perfect, just fine. So what I find, let me see if I can scooch you closer. Okay, what I find is if you take a ladle and you get a little bit of milk, you just keep stirring, never stop stirring, and slowly pour it in. I do about 3 ladles of this. That's what all this holds. Okay, and then once you get all of that combined, you can now do the opposite and mix it in. So set that there for a second. It's not on the heat, it'll be okay. And then what you want is 1 teaspoon of vanilla, which you can also use in your shot glass if you get the ones like I have from Anchor. Not sponsored, just like the brand. If you have more than one, you could measure ahead of time. And then you're going to take that and you're going to pour that in. Okay. Now you're going to set all this aside. You're going to get your little container here that you used for the milk. And you're going to get yourself a sieve. And a random utensil item to hold it so it's at least somewhat level. So you can strain your mixture. See if I can maybe hold it and strain it. That's a little better. The other item is too short. And what this is going to do is not only give you a silky, smooth texture, but any bits that didn't get incorporated will remain in the strainer, and any bits that did will go into your container. And if you do it correctly, you will not lose any of it, as much as humanly possible that is. Okay, then you're going to pour into your caramel. And you're going to pour all of it in there. It will all fit. This fits every ounce of that in there. What One thing I did forget to mention is to have your oven preheated. Yeah, you're going to do it 300 degrees for an hour. That's what you're going to do. While that's preheating, we're going to get one more item. Now, you could do this one of two ways. You can have this done by just sticking the water in the pan and letting it heat up in the oven while it heats up, and then put the mixture in, or you can do what I'm doing and you're getting your water heater kettle device, fighting with the camera about gravity. There we go. Okay. You're gonna fill this. I filled it to the max line. Filled mine to the max, just that way I knew I had enough water, because that worked last time. Scooch. Find yourself a plug, outlet, whatever you want to call it. Oh, there we go. Turn it on and wait for it to bubble. And with your oven, make sure you have the rack in the center. I leave mine in the center, so somehow I always forget to mention that, but yeah, most items you're going to want to put the rack in the center. So I just permanently have mine there. This takes about 2 minutes or so, give or take. So essentially with the filling, if you will, or the flan section of it, you made a custard by using the eggs and heating them and tempering them. The difference between that and pudding, other than using a starch to thicken it, is the water bath. Pudding does not need a water bath, but custard does. A little fun fact for you. It seemed like it took a lot less time last time. Might as well pull copper glass painted with little lights. I can't find it at Walmart no more. I wanted to get another one. That awkward silent section while we're waiting for things, because we don't know how to hyperspeed or splice things in very well. So while you're waiting for your oven and while you're waiting for your water to boil, you could probably just clean up everything real quick. It's not a lot of things. Maybe put your egg whites in the fridge. oven, it's almost set away. And the oven's done. How convenient. So the oven and the water take the same amount of time. Essentially. Big bubbles for me to call it bubbling. Alright, let's see if I can do this without burning myself. Alright, let's see if I can get a good angle on this. So what you want to do is you want to pour this gently, carefully into the pan, about half of the way up. There's good. Alright. That's because I need two hands. You're not going to be able to see this. Just stare at the pot. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to carefully put it into the oven. So what I suggest is pull your rack out a little bit with your oven mitts. Get your pan close to you. Don't let anything mix together or spill out. Just carefully and slowly lower it in. Take your time. Alright, that's gonna be an issue. Alright, so mine wasn't as awesome as last time. A little bit of mine. Alright, a little bit of mine had spilled out. So, as you can see, a little bit of that milky in there. Some of the mixture spilled. Alright, so you're going to set a timer for an hour. Alright, so in an hour we'll come back. Okay, Okay, we're back. It's been an hour exactly from when I last left you guys. And what you want to do when you take it out is you want to see that it slightly jiggles. I'm not sure if you can see that very well, but it's going to look like Jello almost. So let's get this set up right here. Let's take it out of its water bath. I do suggest some sort of silicone-y waterproof glove for this. And then you're just gonna let this sit at room temperature until the pan is touchable. And then you're going to put it in the fridge up to 8 hours for a minimum until set. I've read that you can eat this at room temperature if it is the desired setness that you want, but I found with the result I wanted, leaving it in the fridge for 8 hours was perfect. So I'm not going to wait 8 hours to show you guys. I already had, like I said, made one. I already tried a lot of it, so here is the finished one I made earlier. And I made a second one because I was afraid that this one wasn't going to make it as far as it has. And drippy drips. Okay. Let's clean that up. Okay, so with this, when you take your pan and you get like a plate or something that you're going to serve it on, make sure it's slightly bigger than the pan. And also make sure there's a lip because there is liquid here, as you can see. And that caramel is going to make this dark color on top. It's going to have a nice silky texture when you cut into it. I'll cut a little slice, see if you guys can. Because who am I kidding? I'm not eating another piece anyways. Okay, so we'll just cut this little slice. We'll scoot it away. And you can see that it is very, very jiggly. Get a spoon so that way you guys can see it a little bit better. You just want to cut into it, and then that layer is your original top layer, so that yellow layer you see there. And that silky white right there, that is the inside that you want with that nice brown layer on top. And it is delicious. And then this sauce you could just ladle it on top to help keep it moist. And to put it in the fridge, I just put some saran wrap on it, and it was all good. This this skin right here, if you don't want it on the bottom, I would suggest putting maybe some parchment paper or something in the shape of that, so that way when you lift it later it will cling to that and you'll get a complete smooth bottom. I don't mind the little texture that it gives. It's really nice, and it's part of the dish anyway, so why not? But thank you guys for joining in and following through. I know some parts were a little boring, but you know, sometimes baking can be a little bit of a waiting game, and those little waiting parts are boring, so it is what it is. But this was super easy for me. It was my first time, now second time making it, and I will show update pictures on my Instagram of this one's final results. This one's already up. So thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, like, comment down below on what your favorite treats are. I'll see you guys on the next one.